Rain drizzled softly against the diner window as Ethan Cole stared at the clock. 7:58 p.m. His palms were sweaty, his heart unsteady. It had been years since he'd been on a date, his first blind one at that. He adjusted his tie, the one his daughter Lily had picked out. "You look like a movie star, Daddy," she'd said before bed. He smiled at the memory. If only she knew how nervous he was. The waitress passed by. "Your date running late, hun?" Ethan gave a small laugh. Probably realized blind dates aren't worth the trouble. Just as he reached for his coat, the bell above the door chimed. He looked up and froze. Standing there, umbrella in hand, was Clara Hayes, his first love, his college sweetheart, the woman he'd once planned to marry before life tore them apart. But this Clara was different, polished, radiant, confident. The kind of woman who walked into a room and everyone noticed. The news had said she'd built one of the biggest tech companies in the country. She wasn't just successful. She was a billionaire. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Clara smiled softly. "Hi, Ethan. I guess this blind date isn't so blind after all." They talked for hours. About the past, the years in between, the heartbreaks and the lessons. Ethan shared how he'd lost his job 2 years ago, how he'd been raising Lily alone after his wife passed away, how he worked 2 part-time shifts just to keep the lights on. Clara listened quietly, her eyes never leaving his. "You always had that kindness in you," she said. "The world can take a lot from you, Ethan, but not that." He laughed lightly. "Kindness doesn't pay the bills." She smiled. "Sometimes it pays in ways we can't see yet." A week later, Ethan returned home after dropping Lily at school and found a letter on his porch. No name, just an embossed logo, Hayes Innovations. Inside was a note. "You once believed in me when no one did. You helped me chase a dream I didn't think I could afford. It's my turn now. See." Attached was an offer letter for a senior logistics role at her company. Full salary, health insurance, a trust fund scholarship for Lily. Ethan sat on the porch steps, tears clouding his eyes. He wasn't sure whether to laugh or cry. He'd gone on a blind date hoping for company, and instead found hope. Months passed. Ethan flourished in his new job. Lily's laughter filled their little home again. Clara and Ethan grew closer, not through wealth or nostalgia, but through shared kindness and time. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Clara joined Ethan and Lily at the park. Lily, giggling, ran between them, holding both their hands. Clara looked at Ethan and said softly, "You once told me love doesn't come twice in a lifetime." He smiled. "Guess we were both wrong." A soft breeze rustled through the trees as the 3 of them walked along the path. Lily was humming a song she'd learned at school, skipping between Ethan and Clara, swinging their joined hands. The sky was painted in orange and gold, the way it used to look when Ethan and Clara would sit on the college lawn and dream about someday. Only now, someday was here, just not how either of them had imagined it. After Lily ran ahead to chase a butterfly, Clara turned to Ethan. "You know, I always thought success would feel like this, quiet and peaceful. But it didn't. Not until now." Ethan glanced at her, smiling gently. "You mean not until this chaos arrived?" He nodded toward Lily, who was now laughing in the distance. Clara laughed softly, her eyes glistening. "No, not chaos. Life. Real life." They sat on a bench watching Lily twirl under the fading light. For a long moment, neither spoke. The air between them was full of unspoken memories. The late-night talks, the tears, the dreams that had once seemed too fragile to survive. Finally, Clara broke the silence. "You were the first person who ever believed in me. When I couldn't even pay rent, you gave me your savings for that business license. Do you remember?" Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. "I remember thinking it was probably the dumbest thing I'd ever done." She smiled, and it turned out to be the smartest. He looked at her, more serious now. "I didn't do it for what you became. I did it because I believed in who you were." Clara's gaze softened. "And that's why you'll always be the man I'll never forget." They sat there as the streetlights flickered on, the quiet between them no longer heavy but healing. Lily ran back, holding 2 dandelions, one for each of them. "Make a wish," she said, her voice full of innocence. Ethan glanced at Clara. She was already watching him, smiling like she used to when the world was simpler. He closed his eyes and whispered, "For second chances." Clara's whisper followed his, for love that never really left. The dandelion seeds drifted away, carried by the evening breeze, just like the pain of the years between them. That night, after tucking Lily into bed, Ethan stood by the window and looked up at the stars. He realized that sometimes life doesn't give you what you want when you want it. It gives it back when you're finally ready to cherish it. And somewhere in the quiet, he heard Lily's words echo softly in his heart. "You look like a movie star, Daddy." But tonight it wasn't the tie or the date that made him feel that way. It was hope, real, steady, earned hope, the kind that makes a man feel alive again. The next weekend, Clara joined them for breakfast at the diner where it had all begun. Same corner booth, same smell of coffee and pancakes. Only this time there was laughter instead of nerves. Lily leaned across the table and whispered to Clara, "Daddy smiles more now. I think it's because of you." Clara reached for Ethan's hand under the table and smiled back, "I think it's because of us." Outside, the rain had stopped. The clouds parted, revealing a sky full of light. Sometimes, Ethan thought, life brings you full circle, not to remind you of what you lost, but to show you what was waiting to be found all along. And in that simple moment, surrounded by warmth, laughter, and love reborn, he finally understood. The richest moments in life aren't the ones you earn. They're the ones you deserve.